I would love to play again, just to not only show what I can do, but to end on the right terms. What better place would to be than the place that I started?
Let's talk about something that cuts deeper than football. Something bigger than stats, depth charts, or off-season buzz. Yesterday, Henry Ruggs III, the former Raiders wide receiver, stood up and spoke publicly. Not to defend himself, not to seek pity, but to apologize. And for the first time since the tragic crash that took the life of Tina Tintor, we heard Ruggs not just speak, but reflect. You could hear it in his voice. The regret. The weight of it all. He didn't sugarcoat anything. He didn't try to justify what happened. He owned it. He said he wishes the Tintor family could have met the real him, not the one that was running from everything. And that right there, that hits you. Because we're not just talking about a football career derailed. We're talking about a life lost, a family devastated, a young man behind bars facing the consequences of a choice that can't be undone. Now, I'm not here to play judge or jury. That's not my place. But as someone who's followed this team for years, who's watched Henry Ruggs go from first-round pick to inmate, I've got to say, this moment felt different. The man speaking yesterday wasn't the 21-year-old speedster out of Alabama. He was someone who's been sitting with a life-altering mistake, who's been forced to grow up fast inside a prison cell. And when he said, "I wish I could turn back the hands of time," you could tell it wasn't scripted. It was raw. It was real. So now the question that's starting to bubble up, especially among Raider fans, is this. Should Henry Ruggs get a second chance? Not just in life, but in football? He's eligible for parole in 2026. That's just over a year away, and yes, he's been training while incarcerated. He's kept his body right. He hasn't given up on the idea that maybe, just maybe, the NFL isn't done with him. And when he was asked if he'd want to come back to the Raiders specifically, his answer was powerful. He said, "Why wouldn't I? That's where I started." And he talked about finishing what he began, about leaving the game and this team on his own terms. Now look, I get it. This is sensitive. Some people will say, no way. Not after what happened, you don't get to come back from that. And honestly, I respect that. The Tintor family deserves peace. They deserve to never have to see his face in the news again. And the tragedy of that night will never be erased, no matter how many yards he runs for or touchdowns he scores. But we also live in a world that believes in redemption, in second chances. And if Henry Ruggs has truly changed, if he's committed to honoring the life he took by living better, by speaking to young people, by preventing even one more DUI tragedy, then who are we to say he shouldn't try? Would I personally welcome him back in the silver and black? I'll be honest, I would. If and only if he's done the work. If he's not just physically ready, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually ready to face that locker room, that stadium, and that history. I think it would be a full circle moment, not for PR, not for ratings, but because we've all made mistakes. And while not all mistakes are equal, we all deserve the chance to be better than our worst day. Now, let's be real. The Raiders don't need him. They've got Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, and they added two intriguing young wideouts in Jack Beck and Dante Thornton. That room is deeper than it's been in years. But this isn't about the need. It's about a narrative, about healing, about the kind of comeback you can't write unless you've hit rock bottom first. And Ruggs, he hit it. Hard. But let's not forget, Henry Ruggs was more than just a deep threat. He was the first draft pick in Las Vegas Raiders history. That carries weight. That means something to him. And when he talks about wanting to end things gracefully, that word's choice says it all. He doesn't want fanfare. He wants closure. Now, switching gears, because this wasn't the only redemption story we got this week. Damon Arnette, another 2020 Raiders first-rounder, is reportedly getting a second shot in the league, too. According to Jordan Schultz, the Houston Texans are planning to sign him. Let that sink in. Two former Raiders, same draft class, both written off as busts, both trying to climb back into the NFL. Arnette's journey hasn't been as public, but it's been rocky. He last played in the UFFL, yeah, you heard that right, with the Houston Roughnecks, where he actually looked solid. 18 tackles, a sack, and even a pick six. And now he's sticking around in Houston, but with an NFL team this time. Now, I'll be honest, When Arnette was drafted, I wasn't high on the pick. He never looked like a first-round talent to me. And the off-field stuff that followed, the weapons, the threats, the arrests, it all just cemented the idea that it was a wasted pick. But again, here we are talking about second chances. Do I think Damon Arnette is going to suddenly become a lockdown corner? Number. But if he can stay focused, stay clean, and contribute even on special teams or as depth, then I say good for him. Let him try. Because here's the thing. The NFL is full of comeback stories. Some work, some don't. But the ones that stick, they're the ones where the player truly learns something during the fall. Now, before we wrap up, let's touch on something a bit lighter. The NFL's top 100 list. Not a lot of Raiders made it this year. No surprise considering last season's roller coaster. But two guys did crack the top 30. At number 28, we got Maxx Crosby. And yeah, I already know what you're thinking. 28? Seriously? I get it. This man plays like his hair's on fire every single snap. But here's what they said. Crosby missed 5 games last season and his sack total dropped from 14.5 to 7.5. That's fair. That's part of the game. But when he's on the field, he's one of the most feared edge rushers in the league. Period. Healthy Maxx Crosby is a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. I don't care what anyone says. And this year, if he stays healthy and this defense clicks, he's coming for that top 10 spot. Bet on that. And then at number 22, shocker, it's the rookie Brock Bowers. Let me just say it now. I'm fully on the Bowers bandwagon. I've been on it since draft night. The guy led all tight ends in catches as a rookie, 112 grabs. That's wild, and that was without elite quarterback play. Now we've got Geno Smith in the mix, and yours. And say what you want, but he's solid. He'll get Bowers the ball. And I think the touchdowns go up this year. The yards might dip a bit with more mouths to feed, but Bowers is going to be a matchup nightmare every single week. He's got that it factor, that Kittle meets Kelsey kind of vibe. You can just tell. So yeah, it's cool to see the NFL recognizing what we've known here in Raider Nation for a while now. This team has elite pieces. They just need to come together. So let me close with this. We're entering a new chapter as a team. New coach, new QB, new energy. But the ghosts of that 2020 draft, Ruggs, Arnette, they still linger. And now they're both trying to write a new ending. Whether that's in the silver and black or somewhere else, we'll see. But one thing's for sure. We're about to find out what second chances are really worth. Let me know what you think, Raider Nation. Should Ruggs get a second shot with us? Would you welcome him back in 2026? Or is that door closed for good? And what about Arnette? Does his signing mean anything? Or is it just another offseason headline? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you're still here, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe for more real talk like this. No fluff, no hype. Just straight Raider commentary. I'll catch y'all in the next one.